About the shutdown and the meeting that is underway is Republican strategist Jack Burkman. Jack, good to talk to you. In your view...
Tony, good to see you.
Yeah, pleasure. No, I'm not going to ask that one. I'll ask this one. The meeting is underway right now. What's the best that comes out of that, in your estimation?
Well, you know, I'm kind of in the minority here in that I think the shutdown is actually healthy for the country for a lot of reasons. Mainly, as a conservative, I think it's the only way to enforce budget discipline. Because, you know, if you don't have these shutdowns, if you don't have fights over the deficit, I mean, the sum total of all this will be that the deficit and the debt continue to increase. Now, I mean, like we were saying,
but Jack, this is not about Jack. This is not about the deficit. This is about Obamacare. This is not 2011 was about the deficit, but this is about health care reform.
Well, you make a good point. I guess what surprises us on the right is that with Obama, by his own admission, the administration either wasn't ready to implement the exchanges or was barely ready. There are problems with them. Given all that, doesn't it make sense that they should have been the first ones to want a delay? I'm surprised it's the Republicans clamoring for a delay. It's just hard for us. It's hard for me anyway to understand the issue. But I think, you know, when you look at this, when you look at the shutdown, you have to think of it in stages. Like, at first, I'll be the first to admit, Tony, Republicans, we're losing the PR war. The president's going to smash us with this. I mean, he wins all the PR for spending, and he's doing it again now. If you look at any of the polls, even the for God's sake, shows Obama winning drastically. Now, that changes, though. If this goes on, let's say we cross the 3-week point, get to the 4-week point. At that point, the stock market tanks, the economy tanks. The president could be responsible for the economy at that point. He may have more of an incentive at that point to end it.
Yeah, May, you're right. Big ifs there, and May, and it's possible. What deal do you think, Jack, is Speaker Boehner looking for? And will the president offer some kind of concession on health care? What do you think?
You know, it's so hard to know right now because I don't even know if this is a negotiation. My sense from what I'm hearing from the Boehner team is this is really just a kind of photo op. I don't know if Boehner's going there with any intention to negotiate. I don't know that Obama's going there with any intention to negotiate. I really think if there is to be a deal, it's not rocket science. It'll be a combination of maybe some delay on Obamacare, maybe 4 or 6 months, maybe 3 months, who knows, and some combination of spending cuts, social spending cuts. Maybe they'll take some from HUD, they'll take some from the Commerce Department or DOT or wherever, or the EPA, anywhere where there's a slightly bloated budget. I mean, Obama has a lot of room to maneuver. You know, cuts wouldn't be, spending's gone up a lot in the last 4 years. It wouldn't be hard for Obama to make the cuts. You know, we'll see.
Jack, is there a, sorry for using the terminology here, a grander bargain available here? Something that deals with the budget and also corrals the discussion around raising the debt ceiling?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a really good question. I mean, I think if you bring in the debt ceiling, I think Obama might be, because just as you say correctly, the issue gets bigger and grander, Obama, Tony, might be willing to deal on Obamacare. So at that point, he'll say, well, he can come out and justify and say, it's not just this omnibus, the spending bill, now it's the debt ceiling too. So to preserve the full faith and credit of the U.S., I had to make this deal on Obamacare. Maybe I'm going to delay it 9 months. He has latitude to do that. But again, you really come back to incentive. Like in the short and medium term, Obama wins. So if you're Obama in the short and medium term, you want this to go on. Boehner might have an incentive to end it in the short term. However, when you get to the long term, Boehner wins, Obama may have the incentive. So it all depends on where we are. I think like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks is that magic point.
The calculations of a strategist. There it is. Jack, good to see you. Jack Burkman. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Tony. Always a pleasure.
For the first time in American